So we're we've come into the night show at Sovereign Hill where we were today, and the actual show itself is called Aura. It used to be called Blood on the Southern Cross.
Hills are covered with grass to the summit. The whole appears like the land was laid out in farms some 100 years back. Astonishing.
The settlers were eager to make the most of whatever opportunities the land provided. They took the land as quickly as they could move their ship onto it.
Our golden yam was destroyed when our land was overtaken by settlers who brought another type of gold, the golden fleece.
But when the news of the gold discovery spread through the streets of Melbourne and the secret became public, things quickly changed.
The towns of Melbourne and Geelong and their large suburbs have been almost emptied of many classes of male inhabitants who have gone, leaving their employers and their wives and their families to take care of themselves. Cottages are deserted, houses to let. Business is at a standstill.
By the end of the year, half the colony's men had gone to the diggings, leaving deserted ships, shuttered shops, and unpoliced streets.
So when news of the gold discovery echoed around the world, adventurers and fortune seekers, Chinese from Canton, German soldiers, English, Welsh, Scots, Cornish and the Irish, and miners from the Californian goldfields crossed the seas.
Was that a real war? A new chum. When did you arrive then? Eh?
The diggings was a place of toil and torment and fluctuating fortunes. For some miners, it brought abject poverty. For others, prosperity. They pelted the hotel with sticks and stones.
Inside, they wanted to come out.
Secretly fled.
Coward!
Burn it! Down with the house! Down with the house!
It deserves this.
The government needed to show they were in control. They imprisoned 3 miners for burning down the hotel. The angry miners gathered at Bakery Hill.
Rousing speakers addressed the 10,000 people at the meeting, and the Ballarat Reform League, a dissident group, quickly grew in numbers.
Spread the word! Take a stand! Join us!
They wanted an emblem of their unity and strength. One of the miners designed a new flag. 3 women who lived at the diggings worked together to sew the flag in secret.
The group of defiant miners was gaining strength. They held another meeting beneath their new flag. The authorities were concerned that trouble was coming.
The Southern Cross was hoisted up to the flagstaff. A splendid pole.
Long, long ago, Bunjil the Eagle Hawk was Karangalabil, the creator. The Nankeen Kestrel, the Quail Hawk, the Blue Mountain Parrot, the Brush-tailed Possum, the Sugar Glider, the Parakeet. Out of basalt, Bunjil created a place called Lal.
This created park-like landscapes and exposed the Murnong yam daisies. Come with me on a journey through my country and see how everything changed.
So we've turned up here to Crewel Castle, and it opens at 10 a.m. in the morning. Now, as you can see, Victoria's turned the weather on for us.
Absolutely, it's bloody awesome this weather.
I'm hoping that our day in here is going to be awesome. Thinking back when I was a young kid, I think I was about 6 or 8 years of old, and my father brought me here, and this opened up back in 1972. Now, would have been about 74, 76, I think, when I came in, and it was absolutely awesome. But obviously things are going to change over the years, and obviously I'm going to get older, and it's probably not as much fun as when you're a kid and your eyes are wide open, you see all this stuff going on. But anyway guys, come on in, we'll take you for the journey and we'll see what's in here. But Croyle Castle is in Ballarat, it's just on the edge of town.
And let's get out of this weather.
So we're at Croyle Castle and I've got Paul here. G'day Paul, how are you mate?
How are you?
Good mate, good. Can you just tell us a little bit about what people, okay, first of all, what hours is Croyle Castle open and how many days a week?
So 10 till 4 weekends, select public holidays and Victorian gazetted school holidays.
Righto. Now, I noticed today you have the horse, like today I think and tomorrow the horse...
The Baroque Horse Festival?
Baroque Horse Festival. But obviously you do different things, because I think you've got a magician one coming up and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we've got the Festival of Magic for the next public holiday long weekend. And then we'll have what we call the Smashers, so the Australia versus England jousting tournament, which will be the third one. So yeah, we have like select events throughout the year.
I came here when I was a young tacker. I think I was about 6 or 7. That would have been back in about 1976, 78. I think I came here, and back then they had like hangings and floggings and all sorts of things out there, knights fighting and all that. Obviously you don't do that anymore these days, but do you do anything like that? Like, do they have them?
Well, yeah, the flogging, the whipping of the wench, as they called it back then, doesn't happen anymore. Obviously, the world's changed since then. And the hangings, it's, you know, OH&S and all that sort of stuff, and nowadays it's changed around that sort of stuff. So we more went into, when the new owners took over and everything like that, we more went into pantomimes, comedy shows, all that sort of thing around that. We have specialty themes, so they were into more medieval reality when we went into medieval and fantasy.
Yep.
Getting the kids for those themes and stuff. So over the next school holidays we'll have fairies and goblins. And so we always have the mounted skill at arms and the joust. And back then they used to do stunt jousting, so the knights would be in cloth mail that have stunt jousters, so they wouldn't really hit each other. Then a lot of the jousters I've spoken to from back in the day, they were just stuntmen, so they'd fall off, they wouldn't get hit and all that sort of stuff. Our jousters, on the other hand, are competition-style jousters, so they do hit each other with competition-style lances. So it's about a foot of balsa on the tip, and then the rest of it's pine lance, and they will hit each other with the lance, and it's a solid lance after the balsa's broken.
Yep.
And they wear professional armour, so it's like 50 kilos worth of armour that they're wearing, properly made armour, all that. So that's what they'll wear to the competitions around the world.
All right. Now, I also noticed you have accommodation here. Mm-hmm. And I think you did have a caravan park or something.
Yep, so the caravan park's out the front. So it closed down for some renovations and some works. So fingers crossed, once everything gets ticked off, we should have that up and going. We're hoping for the Easter school holidays. Okay,
now with the normal accommodation or your hotel, is that themed inside the rooms? Is it just normal rooms?
It's semi-themed. They're mostly modern, you know, you got your TV and everything like that, but you'll have, especially inside the castle, you'll have, in majority of the rooms will be tapestries, you've got the arch windows. In one of the rooms there's a full-post bed. They used to be, back in the day, that whole area used to be a mixture of accommodation and shops, and so about 13 years ago they upgraded it all, so they're all mismatched rooms.
Yep.
So they're all slightly different sizes. We've got a fair amount of different categories and things like that. But you get this beautiful view over Ballarat and you're inside the castle grounds. So when you stay, if it's midweek when the castle's closed, you still get, throughout your stay, you still get access to the inside of the grounds. You're inside the castle, you walk out your door, you've got the whole castle grounds you get to walk around in. When you stay on a weekend where we're open, you get free access to the day, from day of check-in to day of check-out. You get to walk around. And
So after getting your tickets and checking in at Coral Castle here, you walk through this little entryway. And we'll go through to the Dragon's Labyrinth. So lots of little quirky medieval items around, and it's done up pretty well. Dragon egg.
Now stick out your tongue like this, and now say these words. And then there you go.
Now we're just about to go through a mirrored section. Looks pretty cool in here. Take some time to smell the fairy roses. Can you guess what each one smells like? Dave's smelling the roses.
Awesome.
What a cool little area. Big dragon in here.
Some gold in behind him.
Some gold, and looks like a skeleton of somebody who tried to steal the gold. And here's the dragon garden with all the little dragons. How cute. Hiding in caves and forests is how dragons stay safe. They are not afraid of the dark, but are frightened of humans who hunt them.
So, we're sitting in the grandstand at the moment, and we're about to watch some horses, or archery on horses.
But I must say, Victoria, you've turned the weather on for us. It's bloody fantastic. Not.
I came here as a kid about 6 or 7 years of old, and that was, well, I'm 54 now, so nearly 50 years ago since I come here. Coral Castle itself opened in 1974. I was 4 years old when it opened. So I must have come maybe 2 years after it opened. Still looks similar. There's obviously a few changes, but we're hoping for a good day. We'll take you around and show you what's here. There's a fair bit happening in the arena today because there's a horse show. So what you're looking at now is the stables. Next to the stables, right in front of us, is the ale house. We have the main arena, which is what we're all sitting around at the moment. Beside the ale house you have the village shop, and then on the end you have the blacksmith. Towards the end of the arena you have the Royal Slushies, the Jester Theatre, Archery, Dreamwood, Moonlight Markets, Treasurer and Armourer. Then there's the Tooth Fairy Lolly Shop. There's some animal pens around here. They have a big maze, an ancient cemetery, the Dragon's Labyrinth, which we walk through on the way in, the Wizard's Tower, the Knight's Tower, the playground, Potions Classroom, the Abbey, the Village Square. So we'll go around and we'll have a bit of a look in between the show.
Please give a warm welcome to our highly skilled competitors. Beautiful shot. Holding her sword aloft to collect the rings. 1, 2, and 3.
So it's pouring down rain outside, so we've just dropped inside the old church. Apparently you can actually get married here.
Be cool to have like a medieval wedding or something.
Yeah.
Be pretty awesome. But anyway, let's brave this beautiful Victorian weather.
Oh, 40 degrees the other day in South Australia, and
it's like wind chill is at least 8.
oh well, the temperature this morning was 10, top was 16, but like, Christ almighty. Right, let's go to the Knights Round Table. Here we are at the Knights Round Table and throne room. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Oh, we all know that I am. Dragon eggs. Looking down over Ballarat. This must be where the wizards and the witches hung out. Potions and lotions. Broken on the wheel. Wheels were used to inflict tremendous harm and pain on prisoners who were condemned to death as traitors, spies or violent murderers. The wheel was not a noble death, so the suffering was long and arduous. Hung out to rot. Law and order was harsh in feudal society and built on the premise that people would only behave if they feared the consequences of not behaving. A gibbet was a purposely forged elevated iron cage that displayed the rotting corpse of men executed for heinous crimes such as treason or piracy. Here's the old rat cage. Rack 'em up. So they used to heat the top of it with the coals, which would cause it to get really hot. So then the rats would chew through the body because it was the only way out. Torture was once a legitimate means of extracting a confession. Not until the victim had felt intense pain could a confession be deemed as the truth. The rack was one of the vilest of tortures. The helpless victim was tied to a wooden frame or wheel. As the crank was turned, the ropes tightened, stretching the body until bones were dislocated or even torn right from the body. The torture could be added to the placing a box of rats on the victim's body. One side of the box was heated, and in a panic to escape, the rodents would dig through the flesh of the restrained victim. That'd be a pain in the arse. The iron mask. So what happened was they would stick that on a person's head and they would open their mouth and pour hot oil down into their throat, which would seal their mouth closed. So this is one of the candy shops or lolly shops. Check out the size of that cup. What have you found here, Roz?
Lots of little beautiful looking chocolates. Unicorn poop. Sword in the stone.
So you can come in and do some archery. It's $5 for 5 arrows or $10 for 12 arrows.
Yep. And then you look. Yep. Yeah, just for the time being. Yeah. Doesn't matter. So 3 fingers underneath, not touching the arrow. Yep. Like that. Take that finger off. Yep.
What's in here? The Prophecy. Prophecy is a free quest around Cruel Castle to find 4 ruins using the clues on the mural. Draw or photo the ruins and then press the... Oh, righto. Mate, so I've got Smithy here from the blacksmith shop at Cruel Castle. G'day mate, how are you?
I'm good.
How many years you been working here for, mate?
Let's see, coming up 13 years this year.
Okay, and what's your actual job here?
I'm the blacksmith bladesmith, so I actually make weaponry and stuff, so...
Okay. Now, I come to Cruel Castle when I was a young little kid. They actually used to hang, they did a hanging and all that sort of stuff.
They had the hanging, the whippings and all that stuff,
Do they still do it or not?
No. WorkSafe basically took them out.
Yeah, right, eh? Ah, cool. And what's an everyday job for you? Like, you actually fire stuff up here, or...?
Here swinging the hammer, banging away. Normally I'm making little trinkets for the actual customers these days. Occasionally I get some bigger jobs like the weaponry open the back wall.
Yep.
But yeah, most of the time it's in here making jewellery and bits. So it's most of the time.
Yeah, right.
At the moment I'm actually working on about 50 knives for an eating sets.
How did you get involved in this?
Well, let's see. Do you mean from the very beginning?
Yeah, like 13 years ago when you started here. How did you get a job here?
I went to the local uni here and did a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Sculpture.
Yeah, right.
And they sent me out here when I finished my qualification. I rocked up here and they went, oh, cool, we hear you're a blacksmith. I went, yeah, been one for 20 odd years. Now it's 30 years. Since then that's how I ended up here. They literally needed someone who could do weaponry and armour.
Nice.
So,
all right, mate. Pleased to meet you.
Pleasure.
Have a lovely day.
You too. Have a lovely one. Enjoy the rest of your day. And
Cheers.
Enjoy the Ballarat Horse Festival.
Will do. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So guys, that was Cruel Castle.
It wasn't what I expected. It was okay. I think kids would love it, but
yeah, unless you're into that medieval castle sort of Dungeons and Dragons sort of stuff, it's probably not your cup of tea.
Without watching the horse shows, you could have knocked this over in about
half an hour.
Oh,
maybe
2 hours.
Maybe 2 hours, yeah. There's a maze in there for the kids, but today the weather's been pretty shit on and off, raining here and there, and it's just bloody freezing. I don't know. It was okay. I personally would not come again.
Yeah, I don't. Well, back in about 1976, I think, was the last time I was here, and running like that, I guess I'll be dead before I get to come back again.
But even with the show today, like, they had a few different interesting things on, but it seemed like they were just doing it off the seat of their pants. There was no, they had a program, but it just seemed like no one had any idea what was going on.
It was like the Timu version.
Yes. Anyway, if you're in Ballarat and you want to come to Cruel Castle to have a look, come and have a look.
Admittedly, it was only about $28, so it wasn't too bad.
So, yeah. Anyway, guys, catch you later.
So we're back at Cruel Castle and we're coming in for a feast. Tonight there's going to be a bit of a meal on, a bit of dancing, a bit of music, a bit of whatnot, but we'll bring you along and show you what it's about. Oz is still cold. Beanie, there's a big fireplace behind us. He's got a beanie on and a jacket. So the first part of the dinner is a bit of pumpkin soup. How's the soup?
It's okay.
gentles, welcome, 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 welcome. How are we all? That was a rough start, wasn't it? Are we having a lovely evening so far? Are you enjoying the strings up here? We're going to get some of you up out of your seats to join us here on the dance floor. I'm going to open first, and I'll say this very clearly. I will make this an open invitation for anyone, especially if you've come dressed in your best, to join us on the dance floor for a promenade dance, which we are to teach you. Down, right, left, right, down.
1, 2, 3, and in. Turning, 1, quarter, and 1, 2, 3, in.
So this is the main. Looks like they've just ducked out to Red Rooster.
Yep. Hey.
So what did you think of that, Roz?
It was pretty average. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, basically it was boring as batshit. We've actually left. We didn't even wait for dessert. It was pumpkin soup, and then it was the chicken, beef, corn, peas, potato, carrot stuff, which wasn't too bad.
It was like a basic Sunday dinner, but you had to, like, we had to serve our own soup. We had to cut our own chicken. To me, it just wasn't.
It was $190, so it wasn't.
The quality's not there to me.
Well, the waiter that brought the soup out, we asked him what the soup was. He goes, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Hang on, you're serving something, mate. Surely you know what it is. And what it was pumpkin soup in the end. He didn't even know.
Yeah, they're just. I think maybe they're understaffed and there's too many people there. But yeah, it's a Sunday dinner, and to me, a Sunday dinner, it could be a lot nicer than that. It could have even pre-cut the chicken into pieces to make it easier for people.
Don't want to sound like we're whinging. Dessert was just which we were told was going to be just a little raspberry tart with a bit of cream on top.
Yeah, strawberry tart.
Yeah, strawberry
cream
tart.
on top, but.
So we're just going to go and get an ice cream or something like. And I got football to watch on TV, which is better than what was in there. It was just these 3 old ladies playing a string quartet or some friggin' thing.
Yeah, it was just getting annoying in the background unless you like the string quartet sort of music. But it's now, what's the time now?
But after 8. I looked up at one stage, and every single person on the table was on their phone, doing shit on their phone.
It's now, I just looked at the time, and it's 8:40. We went in there at 6 o'clock, and it's just, like, even people finished eating like an hour ago and the dishes are still sitting there on the table waiting for someone to come out and take them away. I went into the female toilets. I thought they were actually dirty. There was paper on the floor. There's insects on the windowsills. It's just dirty. It just needs a good clean, and I think they just need to revamp their menu or something. But if that's what you're into, yeah, come along and check it out.
So there you have it. That was our trip to Croyle Castle.
But anyway, let's go home, babe. Catches.
Hey, I hope you really enjoyed that video. It was very, very interesting learning about the history of the Eureka Stockade and seeing it all at night time. Very well put together show. If you have children, take them along, they'll love it. And obviously, as adults, it's really worth seeing. Croyle Castle, I'd probably give that a miss unless things change there, but it was sort of a fly by the seat of your pants with the jousting and that, and there it was a miserable day. It was raining. There wasn't really a lot to see. I remember going there as a kid and I was blown away by it, but back then they had public hangings and floggings and all that, which they can't do these days. But anyway, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. We all know why you're here. It's that time again, joke time with Dave. Hey Roz.
Yes, Dave.
What do you call a man with rubber toes?
I don't know. What do you call a man with rubber toes?
Rubber toe. Catches.